Hello, my little beauties. It's David Connolly here, the web developer extraordinaire. Very soon, probably within the next week or two, as long as nothing catastrophic happens, the Trongate framework will have 1,000 GitHub stars. It's a shame that it took us so long to get here, but I want you to know that I consider this to be something of a miracle. Now, tomorrow's promised to no one, of course, we cannot be sure, but we're currently at something like 993, and I think it's going to happen. So I wanted to do a video and just tell you what this means for the framework and what it means for me personally. First of all, do you realize how much of a miracle this is? I mean, go to PHP News, go to any conference to do with PHP, go sign up for a newsletter, go here, there, or anywhere, and you will not find anybody mentioning Trongate. Trongate is PHP's first cancelled framework. We have had no coverage from anyone. Let's say YouTube, for example. Nobody with over 10,000 subscribers has covered this framework. Many said that they would, by the way, but for one reason or another, they never followed up. Now, I don't blame them for not following up, actually. And I can tell you that the reason why Trongate got cancelled is nothing to do with politics. I mean, I don't even vote, and I don't care who you vote for. The reason why Trongate got cancelled is because we did something that you're not supposed to do. We had the audacity to say to PHP Fig and all of those other self-appointed aficionados, no thanks, we're not going to bother with that. No thanks, we're not going to bother with all of those PSRs. Nope, we're not going to bother with Composer, third-party inter-version dependency. No thanks, we're not going to bother. We said, actually, we're not going to bother with rewrite culture. You know how all of those other frameworks are being rewritten and having new versions all the time? Well, we decided, let's improve the framework constantly by all means, but let's do so in a way that does not break older versions. This, by the way, should be the norm of web development. There should be nothing at all interesting about what I just said there. But yet, we positioned ourselves as renegades because we're the only people apparently doing that. While those other frameworks are releasing new versions with breaking changes, and let's not kid ourselves, every time they do this, some of them know that they're going to sell a bunch of certificates. Well, we chose a different path. We chose stability. We decided to use PHP the way that PHP was designed to be used. And that might sound perfectly logical, even boring. But believe me, when you say no thanks to an entire henhouse of self-appointed code police, you offend a lot of people. This is why Trongate got cancelled. This is why all of those very popular YouTubers who said that they would cover the framework did not cover the framework. So I want you to know that this really is a miracle that we got to this stage. And this 1,000 GitHub stars means a lot to me. Means a lot to me personally. Because I know that you don't probably experience this. But I woke up today to a comment on YouTube where somebody had said, joke framework. This person felt that Trongate is a joke framework. And I've been at the receiving end of this sort of thing for far too long. I get it almost every day. But when this framework goes to 1,000 GitHub stars, it tells me and the whole world that this framework is not a joke. It's actually a perfectly legitimate alternative way of doing PHP. Now, some out there might say it's old-fashioned. I would say to those people, they don't know what they're talking about. They are the old-fashioned ones. All you have to do is look at the benchmarks. Don't you know that Tron8 is approximately 20 times faster than Laravel and Symfony? On every metric that counts, Tron8 wins, and you'd never know it because hardly anybody talks about it. As I said, it's PHP's first cancelled framework. One of the things that has really bothered me is not so much when people say that the guy who made the framework's a nutcase, or it's a joke framework, or it's terrible, or it's the worst thing ever. None of that bothers me. But the one thing that really does bother me is when people post demonstrably false, malicious claims that this framework has security vulnerabilities. I don't care about anything else. You're allowed to say it's a rubbish framework. But those who have posted that material or some implication of a vulnerability, they are guilty of a special type of maliciousness, because they know all too well that if they can plant a little seed of doubt that makes people go, is this thing actually safe? They know that if they can do that, then they're going to have developers running for the hills. And I wonder how many Tron8 users we have lost due to people posting utterly false, malicious declarations or implications of security vulnerabilities. And they did this over and over and over. There was even a moment about 6 months ago where even I was saying, is this framework broken? Is there something wrong with it? And it was all part of the game. None of it stood up to any scrutiny. We've now had some of the best people in the world look at this framework. I will never be the guy who says this framework's 100% safe. Nobody should do that. That's like a violation of the first rule of web security. But what I can tell you is that every single declaration that was put out there turned out to be false. I was so angry, I decided to do a sort of two-pronged response. The first response being, I'm going to launch these retort videos and I'm going to make them funny and I'm going to make them obnoxious and I'm going to ridicule these people because they deserve it. And I posted some of that content and hopefully some of you found that kind of entertaining. And the second thing I wanted to do to deal with the malicious naysayers was to set up a Tron8 legal attack fund. I even wrote about this in the news section of the website. I thought, I'm not going to hang about and have people posting this garbage. Absolutely demonstrably false, malicious garbage. I thought, I'm going to raise some money and I'm going to take them through the legal system and I'm going to sue the living daylights out of them. And that has been the policy. It actually is the policy just now. I'm just waiting on the funds, you know. But you know something? This 1,000 GitHub stars means a lot to me because it tells me that people are taking this framework seriously. And I don't need to go on YouTube and be all obnoxious and all of that and do funny response videos. I don't even need to hire lawyers or anything because the fact of the matter is we're still here. And thanks to you folks, we are almost at 1,000 GitHub stars. So I've decided I'm going to give all of those malicious naysayers a little gift that they do not deserve. The moment Tron8 gets to 1,000 GitHub stars, and it'll be any day now, I'm going to take every article, every YouTube video, every tweet, every blog post, everything where I have posted a response, some kind of retort, anything at all against those naysayers, I'm going to just remove it. You're welcome. They can go away with their reputation intact, and they don't have to worry about me. None of them, by the way, have removed their offending comments. I've asked. I've said, look, I don't mind if you say the framework's bad, but could you stop pretending there's a vulnerability? Apologies if you heard my watch bleep. That was me. But I'm going to give them that gift. And for the TronGate framework, there's going to be a new age. I'm calling it the age of integrity. And that means that whenever we come up with adversity, we're not going to go responding like in some manner that belongs in a playground. Instead, we're going to behave professionally. Again, this does not mean that I'm going to just lie down and let people post any kind of malicious garbage that they want. People are welcome to say the framework's terrible. I cannot stress that enough. I'm really talking about the fake security declarations. That's the one thing that really bugs me. But when that type of thing comes up, instead of some funny video, I'm going to respond calmly, professionally, and I'm going to just say, no, sir, you are mistaken, and here's why. And you know what's really cool? I've noticed over the last few months that all of those naysayer posts and videos and articles have kind of dried up anyway. I mean, I had one today, a little comment on YouTube, somebody saying it's a joke framework, but that's fine. You're allowed to say that. It's okay. I'm all right with it, you know? It's just when you have people, some of them speak at conferences and they post this malicious garbage and it's just not on. Well, we're still here. In fact, we're just getting warmed up. So the moment we get to that 1,000 GitHub stars, that will be the beginning. Let's call it the age of integrity. Oh, and by the way, remember I was telling you how I really get wound up when people do the fake security alert things? Well, we have a new feature that we're adding to the desktop app. And you're going to be able to click on and view the security status of the framework. So if you ever hear anybody saying anything, you'll be able to go and see the status right there on the desktop app. And hopefully that will give you some kind of reassurance, just in case that type of thing happens again. Okay, folks, that's all I've got for you. Thanks for watching. And to those of you who have stood by this framework, and I'm calling it PHP's first cancelled framework. And to you folks, thank you so much. I'll see you soon.